After 110 long hours, I finally beat Digimon Story Time Stranger. Now I play games that are longer, but 110 hours is long for a game when you are on tour. I am currently writing this 30 minutes before we start show, but I will be recording this in 2 weeks, so that's good. The tour has been an interesting thing. The thing it has been the most of is annoying and stressful. I knew that doing any type of lead position would involve a ton of stress, which is why I didn't ever want to take up a lead role. Sadly, there were no assistants on this tour, so I had to do all the video needs on my own. But anyway, I'm happy to finally be away from it and back to my PC. Also, if it wasn't clear, I played this whole game on my Steam Deck and had no problems while running it. I didn't think it would have problems, since it is a Digimon game, and the graphics aren't really anything game breaking, but that is up for catching up, and time to talk about this game. As anyone would know, I'm a lover of creature collectors, and I try to play as much as I can. I even bought a game called Beastie Ball, that is a creature collector that has volleyball battle mechanics. So once I saw that the newest Digimon game followed the direction Cyber Sleuth did, I knew I needed to play this game. First thing I did was play a demo when it came out. And just like in the base game, you have a selection of 3 different Digimon to select as your starter Digimon. The 3 were Patamon, Gamamon, and Demi-Devimon. Knowing my emo self, I picked Demi-Devimon. I believe most people said that Demi-Devimon was the worst pick, because it would take them too long to get to the next stage to Digivolve, which is very true. But I cared not about that, because I took that child to the final fight. You can't really treat Digimon as Pokemon in any way, because you don't really need to keep your partners to the end. I mean, it'd be weird not to, but most Digimon games decide what paths your Digimons can go. That sounded complex to someone that has never played the Digimon games. So you know how in Pokemon, every creature has their set evolution route, right? Well, in Digimon, that's kind of a thing, but also isn't. Some Digimon have their paths cut off at certain points, or don't even have them included. I adore Pumpkinmon, but sadly there is not a main path for them in this game, so once you get to a point to Digivolve, it gives you an unrelated Digimon. That is kind of the sad thing about Digimon. There's a ton of Digimon, and it's very hard to include them all. I still got the Digimon I wanted, thanks to the Digimon Farm. But I still wish for more. Now, how do you know which Digimon are part of each line? Some are easy to tell since they look very similar, but others are hard to see, which means you have to experiment. There were times I would just save scum with each Digivolution, others I would just look up because I had Digimon stay in the Digifarm. So how do you Digivolve? All these different Digimon. There are 3 main ways to do this, and the first one is primarily the one I did. The main way is to just battle and level up your Digimon, which increases your attributes. The second way is the one I talked about previously, which is using the Digimon farm, which is truthfully called the Digifarm. You can place different Digimon in there and choose an exercise for them that levels up that specific attribute. You can place a bunch of Digimon that you can muster, and we'll get a notification when the exercise is done. Once you get the message, you can choose to run the exercise again, or just go back to pick them up and Digivolve them, or put them in a different exercise. The last way is to use items that increase the attributes. The sad thing is that there is a limited amount of these items, so use them only if you need to. But Digivolving is the same as any other Digimon game, so don't go into this thinking you have to relearn anything. Now, story is good for a Digimon game. That isn't to say that Digimon stories are bad per se. Digimon stories, in my opinion, have been average at best and nothing I've ever called great. Then again, very few long running franchises have ever been great when it comes to the story aspect. After saying all that, I still have to say that the story, for the most part, was good. As you can probably tell by the game title, time has something to do with this game. We are introduced to our character as some sort of time agent that goes back in time to fix certain anomalies. Seems like a stretch, but in a world where very few people know about Digimon, this doesn't seem as strange. You poke around and try your best to discover why things went badly in your timeline. This is the best way to describe your adventures, truthfully. You try to uncover why things went wrong, and the further you go, the more things start to unravel, and you realize what truly happens. You meet a colorful group of people, human and Digimon alike. Now, as much as I want to talk about this in more detail, I don't really want to spoil anything. Also, I think this game does great with background characters. I'm talking about in fights and in story as well. So combat is turn-based, so if you don't really care for it, then this game isn't for you. I also didn't know till I was almost done with this game that there was auto battle. Now, why do auto battle when playing a game like this? For a lot of battles, you kind of do the same thing over and over. So you kind of just auto battle, so you don't have to deal with everything feeling bland. The only time I took off auto battle was when I had to heal, and when a fight was hard and I actually needed to pile my Digimon. Also, at least for me, combo was hard for a long time because a lot of my Digimon weren't the right forms to fight some of the enemies. I guess right rank would be the correct way to say it. Once I got my Digimon to the last forms, I rarely had difficulties in any fight. Also, you aren't allowed to swap out any Digimon that you have in your bank into these fights. You have a total of 6 Digimon you can choose from while in combat. You have the 3 active Digimon that show up once the fight begins, You have to reserve Digimon you can swap in when you need them. I mainly swapped out my starting three when my Digimon were weak against the enemy. So like in most games, you have things you are strong against and things you are weak against. If Digimon's attribute type, which will be either virus, data, or vaccine. You also have a neutral type, which is variable or free. That just means they aren't weak or strong against any attribute type. You also have to deal with elemental types. All that means is that your attribute may be strong against another Digimon, but your element is weak against them. You may have to switch out that Digimon. The only thing that Digimon can do is buff/debuff, and do basic attacks because otherwise their abilities do no damage. There's a lot to factor into these fights. Besides, you won't know this information going to a fight. So, you have a few options at your disposal. You can bring in Digimon to every attribute and element so that you are ready for every situation. You also just play with the Digimon you want and deal with problems with the strongest of wills. Or you just be like me. Just make sure you have two of each attribute so that you are somewhat prepared and not really worrying about elements because you want to play with your preferred Digimon. For the most part, you can make anything work as long as you have attribute synergy. There are some fights that took me a while to beat until I got one of the same attribute to fight the enemy. So I'm not going to put this in because I'm lazy. But when I say same attribute, I mean same attribute as the opposing attribute for the enemy, the one that actually does damage. Also, it could be the same attribute because the same attribute isn't really a negative remotely. You just won't do extra damage. So you can have the same attribute as them. You just don't do extra damage. Also, it's not negative to have them in a fight. Usually, I would have two of the opposing attribute, the one that actually it's weak against, like the opposing Digimon is weak against, and I'll have the same type. That way, I'm actually doing extra damage on them, and also they won't really hopefully kill my Digimon easily. Best way I can really explain that. I definitely went into this game thinking it was easy and came out of it realizing that I should have prepared more. There are still some fights I would like to tackle again in New Game Plus, but that'll be for the far future. The creature collection part can feel very tedious to someone that isn't used to the Digimon games. You can be patient and wait till Digimon is max level in the current form to Digivolve. Or you just digivolve them as soon as you can. I felt like I was the type that did not want to wait for them to be max level because I needed them for the upcoming fight. Now, I could have just started using a different Digimon while I put said Digimon in the farm, but sometimes I was impatient. I started putting the Digimon in the farms once I had to keep digivolving them to raise their levels higher. In this game, you can get a Digimon to max level, and they won't reach the requirement to digivolve. Your options at this point would be to de-digivolve them, to raise their max level, or to send them to the farm and raise their attributes. For Digimon that I had never planned to use, but wanted to see different evolutions, I did this. If I actually wanted to use a Digimon at any point, then I sent them to the farm. There's a lot you need to do to even see a sliver of all the Digimon offered in this game. I also feel like you don't have the time because you have so many side missions to do for all that is left is your main missions. Also for the people that say levels don't matter in this game, they do. Leveling raises your Digimon's attributes, and while they do take a while to get to max level, it's better than waiting for them to reach in the farm. Again, the farm is better if you need a specific attribute level. The leveling raises all the stats. They are both great in their own rights, but I would still pick the farm over leveling. Also, the creature collection system is different from most games, because there really isn't much catching. This is Digimon. In order to get a specific Digimon outside of Digivolving, you have to battle. You have to keep fighting the same Digimon in order to get their data to a high enough percentage. Do that you can own them once you get to 100%. But 200% is the max percentage, and also the best version of Digimon. The higher the ranking of the Digimon, the longer it takes to get to a max percentage. So you want to get a specific Digimon, you have to go out into the world and battle them to get as much as possible. Or battle a Digimon that is in the same line, but you wouldn't really know what line that would be when you were just starting the game. So just go out and fight as many Digimon as you see. Another thing with Digivolving is that there are specific requirements for Digivolving. Some need a Digi-Egg in order to evolve, which requires you to visit a specific person to make you the egg. The bad thing about this is that the materials needed are in two different areas. That means if you are in a specific part of the game, you may be locked out of making that item. You have fusion Digivolutions, which are more annoying to do. So with these fusions, it requires the Digimon to have specific temperaments. The only way I found to do this successfully is to send them to a Digifarm to train. So training can level your attributes, but also can change the Digimon's temperament. You will see which direction the temperament will go to when you hover over exercises. This option takes a while, unless you decide to speed through with currency, which isn't a smart thing to do until late game. I'm also going to add this in without script. So there's another way to do this, which I just realized, which is to talk to your Digimon. So in this game, the Digimon will talk to you, and when you respond to them, you'll see a certain icon, which is one of the personality icons, and depending on what you select, will change their personality. Now, this is really only for the Digimon you have outside of the farm, but also I think you can also just chat with the Digimon that are in your party, because a lot of them will follow you as you go throughout the world. So you can just talk to them. Maybe if you talk to them, you'll see different selections for the different personalities, but I never really tried to do it that way, so I didn't really talk about it till now, but that's also an option. I keep talking about the farm, but late game, the farm is amazing. So late game, you should have acquired a lot of currency you haven't spent. I spent mine specifically in the farm, and I'm happy I did. So farm trading takes in-game time to level up your Digimon's attributes. I believe I usually saw around 30 minutes to train them, which is a lot of time to wait. Early game, you aren't really going to have the currency to quick train them, which is why it's great to do it in-game. So I believe it costs around 10,000 in-game in order to instantly train your Digimon. It's something lawful to spend late game, but not really early game since most missions give you maybe 500. I used to quick train a lot late game to get my in-game Digimon. It is a good system, but it is pricey, and it is understandable if you want to just level your Digimon and spend more time playing this game. I chose the farm option because I felt like I was close to beating this game and wanted all my Digimon to their final forms. Replayability is very weird for this game, because story-wise I don't really think anything is replayable. Even though you can pick different dialogue choices than your previous ones, nothing really changes down the long run. You still become who you were destined to become at the end of the day, and the big twist doesn't hit as hard. It's replayable for about a few reasons. The main one, for me, is the same reason you would play any other creature collector. That's to use different mons. The other would be to play New Game Plus on harder difficulty, and try to do some achievement hunting. That isn't something I do. I say that, but I plan to continue my honor run in Divinity Original Sin 2 once I get home. There's no evil run in this game, because you're destined to kind of save people, and not really doom them. Then again, very few creature collectors put you in the shoes of the villain, outside of a few mods. So does that mean you're done once the credits roll? I would say yes, because I loaded up my completed save run, and it just sent me back moments before the final fight. You're probably curious who my final team was, aren't you? It was Alphamon Oryukin, Baphomet RM, Imperial Dramon PM, Basilmon BM, Rosemon BM, and Jesmon. Not really my typical lineup outside of Beelzemon and Bephalmon. Funnily enough, the biggest upside was Rosemon, and she was only added because she was my only link to Pumpkinmon. Even in the final fight, I didn't really have to change up my lineup at all, which was nice since I was trying to end the fight before show started for the day. I believe the three I used were Alphamon, Bephalmon, and Imperial Dramon. Sadly, Bephalmon had low MP, so they ran out pretty often, and I would just see them doing a basic attack. I woke them up just to auto attack, and then immediate to death. Side missions in this game were full of a ton of story that I would want to relive. Some of them were your usual go here and fight this enemy, while some were these multi-link quest lines that were interesting. I say all this to say, what was with all those quests at the end of the game? So I made sure to finish all the side quests before I moved on to the main quest, which is always a good thing to do. For some reason, once you get to the main point of no return, the game gives you a bunch of quests in order for you to get more agent points. Oh, I forgot to talk about agent points. So I kind of want to avoid talking about the whole agent thing. But thankfully, talking about the agent skills isn't really a big spoiler thing. So in this game, you kind of use a sort of ultimate based off of what agent skill you have equipped. Some do a big amount of damage while some can just heal or buff your team. I kind of opted for the one that did a massive amount of damage. This game doesn't really have a skill tree, but you can invest your points in different things. I'll just call it a skill tree to keep it simple. So you have to invest points into these skill trees in order to get access to different agent skills. For the most part, you can get more damage out of a specific Digimon type, or get more experience from battling. You get more things passively from the skill trees than anything that will feel like it actually helps you throughout the game. The main active thing you get from the skill tree is the agent skills, but other than that, you don't really need to feel the need to fully level everything. There are a few Digimon that digivolves once you have all the skill trees leveled up, which sadly I was not able to do. I did everything except one mission, and even then, I wasn't able to complete it, which I wasn't happy about. If I completed them, then I probably would have been able to digivolve the other Digimon. They try to look it up on my day off so that way I can digivolve them. Spoiler, I did not do that remotely because we're recording and I didn't remotely digivolve them. So yeah, I think I was just too lazy. No, I think I was getting my tattoo, so I didn't really give a fuck. Or, no, it might have been that day I was fixing the camera, so I don't really think I had time to do anything. So yeah, didn't do it. Just gonna tell you right now. I don't know what they look like. I'm probably not going to know what they look like probably a few weeks because listen, I got in. Everything that's still in my bag is still in like my main bag. Took out my like to-go bag with me. My Steam Deck is still in my bag, kind of hanging out. My Pelican hasn't been touched, which is my bag for my tools and shit. Like I haven't really touched much. Overall, I like this game a lot more than I thought I would. I knew it would be a fun time, but I didn't expect the story to be good. Combat was interesting because you were given an ally that could heal if you gave them a healing skill. You can give healing skill to any Digimon, but I, like many others, wanted attack skills over healing skills. It was nice to have the additional help in fights. The skill animations were fine for the first few times, but after a few times, I got tired of seeing it. I kind of wish that you could skip it if you press the button, but that wasn't something I could do. I was going to add enough to the skill stuff, so here's the thing. You can add skills basically to any Digimon. I kind of stopped caring to do it and just use the skills my characters had, but truly speaking, you had magic attacks and you had physical attacks for combat, and there were some Digimon that were able to negate physical attacks, you have to hit with magic attacks, and some that negated magic attacks, you have to use physical attacks. And the thing is, a lot of these Digimon either had one or the other. It was very rare for Digimon to have both. magic and physical. So if you had these skills, it'd be best to give them a magic skill if they only have physical, and a physical skill if they only have magical. That way they can actually do damage when it comes to those fights where you have an enemy that negated those skills. I didn't really do that, but I want to just tell you that since we're here at the end of the video because, I forgot to fucking put it in. But yeah, we do. That may have been something I can do in the settings, but I didn't really look at the settings much. I did like the Digimon they select for the game, even though I wish they included a few more. The characters were fun to interact with, even though some seemed over the top with how they were acting. Side missions, for the most part, were good, except for the two certain ones in the end of the game. Those missions had you search for certain things around the map, which took a lot of time. I think that is the reason I took forever to beat the game, once I was at the point of no return. I say this, even though I looked up a location for these missions. But I like the game, and I feel like you should definitely get in on the sale. I say this mainly, again, off script. This is mainly because the game is like, what, $70 off sale? Like, dude, don't fucking buy a game at $70, please. Please buy it on sale. Never buy a game that wants to cost like $70 to $80 base fucking price. Only buy games that are like maybe 60, 50 at best. Like, don't fucking pay full price for these fucking games, dude. Indie games, sure. But AAA games don't do this shit. Late game felt the best, but also the worst, because you were able to get to any point of the game via fast travel. Now, as nice as this is, this mainly helps to complete missions you didn't get to yet, and also do some new missions. Another thing you can do is finally get the materials needed to digivolve all these special Digimon. You can also go around and get all these chests that are hidden throughout the world. Besides the mission, I can see the best thing about unlocking the full fast travel is being able to battle all these Digimon so you can unlock the ability to own them. Other than that, the full fast travel is mainly used for the mission and nothing else. Not really much to explore in this game, unless you just want to revisit old places and see familiar faces. I have no idea when I will be able to record another video, so that I don't really have time to beat another game before I get home. I do want to stream 9 Souls when I get home and beat that, but I'll probably pick up more work once I get home. I told you already, I picked up 2 fucking days of the last game I was doing before I left for tour. I also plan to get another GPU for our stream, so more power for my PC, but we'll know once we get to that point. I got a 5080, and it went on sale days later. The world hates me, and I had to take out a fan in order to fit it. I'm very happy I'll be home from tour because I'm kind of tired and ready to be away from it all. As a friend said, I'm kind of over it all at this point and checked out. If things go wrong, then it goes wrong. But I won't stress about it. But hopefully I get to play 9 Souls or another game in my library. I did buy a ton of games while I was on tour, even ones I didn't remotely think I was going to get. I literally coin flipped if I should buy this game, and I lost it, so I bought the game. Also, here's the thing. This is the second game I coin flipped on tour, by the way. The second fucking game. It was the first one. No, this is the first game. Okay. I coin flipped 2 games while on tour. This was the first one, and another game, which was the Outer Wilds 2. I have no idea when I'm going to play the Outer Wilds 2, but I coin flipped it, and I lost the fucking coin flip. Now, here's the thing about me. I will always go for Tails. Tails is my lucky fucking side, but for some reason, I lost it, because fuck me, money was spent. Bought in a 20% sale, which just bought the game to regular game prices, which is trash. But being head video was interesting. We'll see if I do it again. Anyway, I'll see you all at a later date. Hope you all have a great week and an amazing day. My name is Only Incubus, so that'll be my time. Later days. I love you all. Saying kisses, canceling. I love you all. Bye. Bye. See you later. Love you all. Bye. Peace. Love you all. Peace.